up to the cockpit. My name's Ryan, and I'll be your pilot tonight. Boys and girls, I'm feeling horrible. This team is giving me heartburn. I'm so sick of all the crap we've had to put up with over the last, let's be honest, it hasn't been the last few days, few weeks, few months. It's been a few years. Absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. Now you can see the tears in my eyes. I'm taking off the sunglasses. Boys and girls, this stream, powered by BetUS. I want to get your thoughts. We'll do a little call-in action. People are going to get 2 minutes, and then I eject your ass from the cockpit. And that's how this is going to shake out here. A little boom.
You're out of here.
That's how it's going to happen. 2 minutes, then you're out. You get the chicken. I want to hear from you. I put a poll question in the chat. Time for the Jets to blow it up before the trade deadline. New staff plus run it back, or new staff plus blow it up. You guys can vote on that throughout the course of the night. I'm going to go through some of your questions in the chat, and then we'll say 9:15. We'll go to the phone lines, and we'll talk a little bit about this. I want to give you guys my thoughts now, having a day to digest everything. This is by far the worst I've felt as a Jets fan, and I'm to the point where I can't yell. I can't, rant and bitch and moan and all the stuff you see me do in some other videos because there's been a little bit more fire there. I'm just at a loss. This is a roster that I think is more talented than I've ever seen as a Jet fan. I think we have a quarterback that, statistically at least, is on pace to have arguably the best season that we've seen from a quarterback. And we've got some young stud players. But for whatever reason, we can't figure out. We're finding new ways to lose each and every week. And I'm just not going to let this team hurt my mental psyche anymore for the rest of the season. Whatever happens, win, loss, whatever, just going to take it in stride. Talk about the ups, the downs, whatever. I'm broken. That's what happened. The Jets have finally lopped the head off of Ryan. I am so beyond frustrated. It is ridiculous. So I don't know if I want to address yesterday's game or if I just want to talk in general about the team. Where we go from here. We know where we've been. Where do we go from here? Joe Douglas on an expiring contract. We've got an interim head coach who, look, let's be honest, probably not coming back after this season. We're probably cleaning house of everyone. I can't see this being a hey, Joe Douglas stays around and then the rest of the team gets figured out. I think it's probably everyone goes. So looking at it through that lens, how attractive of a landing spot are the Jets realistically going to be? Everyone's going to say, we want Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson's the guy we've got to get. That's great. Does he want to come here for his, I don't want to say it's going to be his only shot as a head coach, but as his first shot as a head coach? Why would the top candidate want to take a black eye like this? And to a similar point, why would a GM want to come in here when you got your owner and his greasy mitts flubbing it all up, touching everything, doing things his way? I'd love for Joe Douglas to release a book after he's done here. I want to see, did he make the selection of Zach Wilson, or is all the bullshit that we were spouting as just a conspiracy theory actually fall back on Woody? The Aaron Rodgers, basically everything since Rodgers was traded to the Jets feels like a Woody move, more so than a Douglas move. And not that Douglas wouldn't have gone for Rodgers anyway. I think he would have. I think it was the right play. I had always said that I think it should happen after the draft, and it seemed like him and Salah were pretty much set on that happening. Wow, what a touchdown grab. Steelers looking solid. Not like an outstanding squad of players necessarily, but this is what good coaching can do to you. Good coaching can win you games. You see that with teams that are decimated with injuries. Stefanski, they win games with injuries, with subpar quarterback play. All this shit that we see. I do tend to think it's the fish rots from the head down, which is ownership. And unfortunately, we're not selling the team. Woody Johnson sees this as just an outstanding way to just burn a few $1 million each year. I'm sure he wants to win. Man, if someone could just dig up some emails on this guy and we could Dan Snyder his ass, force him to sell the team, oh man, Jets fans would rejoice. Look how fast the Commanders turned around their damn team. The Lions turned their team around. Broncos seemingly turning theirs around as well. Just frustrating. Really, really frustrating. Main Catch comes in and says, bro, your intro gets me super pumped up. Main Catch, I'm so glad you're pumped up. And I'm really sad I'm dropping it a little bit lower and making your mood maybe not so good. Because I'm frustrated. I am not in a good spot right now. E-Pulk says, this team has taken every emotion away. Exhausting. Yeah, look, last year at least I felt like something was stolen from us. Like we had an opportunity to be great. If Rodgers doesn't get hurt and this season happens last year, at least you pull the plug on Salah, you pull the plug maybe on Joe Douglas at that point, and you hit the reset button a year early, and you feel a little bit better not having Rodgers coming off an injury. Going into 2025, I am not thrilled with where we got to be right now. What coach is going to want Aaron Rodgers necessarily at this stage, or feel that Rodgers is, making decisions on behalf of the team, or has the ear of the owner to make decisions? Who are you really going to attract? I said this with Dom C just a few moments ago, and I think you're looking at either an unproven coach, like an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, something like that, that is going to be given a role that is larger than they necessarily should take on right now. And it's not going to be the top guy. It's not going to be like a Ben Johnson. It's probably not going to be like a Clint Kubiak. It's probably not going to be like a Slowick or something like that. You're probably looking at option 3, 4, potentially 5 down the list, depending on how many head coaching jobs are open. So do you want to give it to that guy? Do you want to have that sort of Texans situation where you're like, yeah, we got this head coach because like no one else would take this head coaching job because Watson's getting shipped out and no one wants to be here. So we're just going to pay this dude for 2 years. Like, are you signing up for 2 more years of Adam Gase until we get this into a favorable situation? That's where my head's at right now. Like, this shit sucks. I don't want that. The thoughts in my head right now that I've come to the conclusion of, and it was the epiphany at the final 2 minutes of the show with Dom, is if you're giving me an opportunity to right this ship, regardless of what happens with Rodgers, we got to get a head coach in here. Why not Brian Flores? Piss off the Dolphins. He's already pissed off at the Dolphins. I'm sure he's got a little bit of anger towards the Patriots as well. He wants to prove himself in the AFC East. That guy's got a little bit of fire. I'm sure it's a defensive head coach, but why doesn't he bring over the quarterback coach from Minnesota? One, Josh McCown, to be the offensive coordinator. We bring in a little Josh McCown. Maybe you get a Sammy Boy reunion coming back, playing with his best buddy, Josh McCown, back in the city with a team that didn't necessarily want to trade him. And we say, hey, look, the GM wanted you gone and everyone else wanted you gone. We wanted you here, Sammy. You're Justin Jefferson. There's Garrett Wilson. We got that. Don't you worry. Maybe it goes a different direction. Who knows? I don't know. It's literally every option's on the table. I'm Team McCown Flores 2025 with Sam Darnold as quarterback. Why not? People want Rex Ryan. McCown's just a little fever dream for me. It's stupid. I don't know. I think the team has just flat out broken me. I think that's where it is. Douglas comes in with super chat, says, Jets are a polar opposite of the polar opposite of something. The whole is greater than the sum. The whole is greater than the sum of all its parts. I'd prefer a bunch of scrubs that play as a team than stars. Yeah, this team, for as good of the players we have from a talent perspective, it certainly feels like we don't have a cohesive team. This does not feel like a team. This feels like a collection of cards, a collection of players. And that's it. They're not playing for one another. Their heads are all overinflated. We had so many good young rookies, and then maybe adding Rodgers to the mix and his personality wasn't necessarily the best decision. Or maybe the way we went about, bringing him in and all the glitz and glory of it, and then bringing in the extra players, and then you have Hackett here who sucks. Like, there's a whole lot of issues here. Now, I do tend to fall on the in the stance of wanting Rodgers to come back for 2025, run it back with Davante, sign him to some kind of contract. You have all the young talent here that's going into their 4th year. If you bring in a new GM, I think you have this situation where the GM can say, hey, look, no one's getting a contract right now. We're going to roll through this season. We're going to see what happens because I might have to reset it all. If that's the case, you know what? Hey, Garrett, hey, Sauce, I'll give you incentives. We're going to keep you on a rookie contract, but we're going to give you some incentives. If you're not going to, play for a big, big contract this year, let's give you the incentives. You play like a monster. You get some interceptions. Whatever metrics you want to tie it to, you're going to get paid well. That's how you Band-Aid this. I don't think you do anything for Brees. I think you probably just let him walk at the end of next year. I'm not really on board with trading everyone away. Now, if Rodgers leaves and you got a situation where players are like, I want to get paid, this, that, and the other thing. Now, maybe you're in a situation where, why not? Just pay the guys. You don't have the high expensive quarterback. You might have to go a different route. Maybe do that. Does the new GM just want to reset everything and get new, new draft picks in here, reset the clock? Do players even want to play here? Like, there's so many damn questions that I don't have the answer to. I'm so perplexed. And to say, like, to quote, who was it earlier? Who said that? E-Rock. They've taken all my emotion away. That's it. I'm not going to put in the extra effort. What I'm going to do is going to watch my team. I'm going to try and be as optimistic and calm as I can. I'll give you guys my thoughts throughout the season as things change and things pivot, all that good stuff. J-Boy says, Ryan, thank you. Earlier today, I was questioning my fandom. You're live 1 hour, and that chat woke me up. Well, J-Boy, I'm glad you're here. Glad you're hanging out with us. And look, there's a lot of, like, I don't know where to go. I think the whole fan base as a whole is in a weird spot right now. We're kind of at a loss for words. This is a situation where the players should have been better than they are. Wah, NYC, we have to pay Rodgers anyway. He isn't useless like Zach was. Reload, run it back one more time with a new regime. That's kind of where I fall on it. We don't necessarily have to pay Rodgers his contract. He has a $35 million bonus that does come into play. But let me see real quick where that stands. So he has another bonus. Rodgers has a $35 million bonus to be paid in 2023. And his 2023 and 2024 base salaries are fully guaranteed. In 2024, there is also a guaranteed option bonus worth $35 million. In 2025, there's another $35 million option bonus that can be exercised. The final years of the contract are effectively void years for salary cap purposes. So this is kind of like how Rodgers' contract was handled in Green Bay, where he had a $50 million option that needed to be exercised if he was going to stay on the roster, or the Jets would have had to cut him. Rodgers, I believe, pushed that date back to the start of the season at some point. Or maybe that's just where it was triggered. I would think this $35 million is in a similar way for the Jets. So they'll get a decision on Aaron Rodgers. I'm sure part of this will be like, hey, you got to re-sign Davante. He's coming back. In the event he wanted to retire, like let's say his body's just all beat up and banged up and he's just like, I'm done. I've not had any fun here. I'm tapping out. Then he would retire after June 1st, and then his contract would basically, that bonus would get pushed till after that point. Salary cap would get split over this year and next year. Now, Dom was saying there's something squirrely where you could spread it over 3 years. I don't think that's true. I could be wrong. I don't think that's correct. I'll have to do a little bit of digging onto that to see if there's anything further that I'm just not understanding. Douglas says, is there a previously failed head coach you'd take a swing on? At one time, Belichick was a bust in Cleveland. So, yeah, that's kind of where I was going with my thought process. I would prefer a veteran head coach who's done it before and looking to prove himself again and maybe fix where he went wrong the last time. Now, obviously, we tried that with Adam Gase. That was not the person that I would have chosen to do that with. But Brian Flores is one that interests me. He's obviously not on the correct side of the ball. I prefer an offensive-minded head coach. But if you don't think you can get one of these top guys, I would prefer a retread head coach that I thought was a good coach at the time and got the shaft from Miami. I think he's got a little bit of fire to go against Miami, and that's sort of the direction I would probably lean. Now, if you could bring over a McCown as an offensive coordinator, I don't know if that's necessarily the person you want to have as your OC, but I think he's less likely to get pulled away for a head coaching role, at least right now. You would have to pair Flores with a really good offensive mind, and I feel like that's the same way for a lot of coaches. I don't think. Oh God, why am I blanking on the name? The Browns coach, Stefanski. I don't think he's going to shake free, but I would go after him. He would probably be top on my list. Vrabel is still up there, but I think Vrabel's one you'd probably have to offer GM responsibilities to want to get him to come here, and I don't know if he necessarily wants to deal with Woody. I think Flores is sort of that coach that would be enticed by the situation. Like, hey, look, you're going to get a stud quarterback where you don't necessarily have to worry too much about the offensive side of the ball, at least immediately. And Josh McCown, you get to draft a quarterback. Maybe that's appealing. People are going to say Rex. People are going to say all sorts of names that pop up. And look, there's not one right answer. Gangrene says, even my wife says, find a new team. My wife and I were talking about this. Like, hey, we got 2 young girls, 2.5 and 1.5. Or 1, whatever. Do I force them to be Jet fans and be a terrible father? Is that where this is headed right now? So when I get Shay in like a headlock or like I'm holding her, I'm like, oh, what do you? I don't make her say uncle. I make her say Jets, Jets, Jets. That's what she's got to say to get out of it. I hold her. What is it? Jets. It's like, all right, here you go. You're allowed to go free. So I'm kind of already heading down that path of this is the direction we're going to go. I just want to share this with someone. I want to share this misery with someone. I want to commiserate. I want someone to call me and say, Dad, my team sucks. And maybe at some point, watching my kids, they won't suck. It'll be better. It's kind of where I'm at. We got Darrell in here. Darrell says, bring Rex back. I could have sworn I just said that 2 seconds ago. And I love how it just came in as a super chat. Thank you, Darrell. Actually, I think you sent this before I even uttered the words out of my mouth. But he says, bring back Rex. He is passionate about the team. This is what we need. I don't see any coaches right now saying they bleed Jets. Look at Dan Campbell's results. Look, if we are sitting here in January and we clearly don't have any sort of GM or any sort of head coach, I have no idea where we go with the GM. I really don't. GM's a whole bunch of confusion for Ryan right now. I wouldn't be totally against Rex because I would take Rex over the 4th best offensive coordinator or something like that in here. I think I would probably be all right with that, at least for a year. Like if you had to have like a Band-Aid coach for a year or two, you can pick a lot worse people than Rex. At least I like Rex. And I think Rex dismantled a really good Buffalo team the year after he left. And I think he probably butted in too much as a GM, or not as a GM, but influencing the GM to get players that probably should not have been picked. You pair Rex with a good GM, you might have a shot. Now, he put a target on our back all the time, and that comes with its own headaches. There are a lot of things I didn't love about Rex. 2009, 2010, 2011, whatever, those years are a long way away right now. Closer to 15 years away. It's a lot of time for the league to change. I won't stick my nose up at it. I like Rex, but I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would do that. Paris says Rex Ryan falling flat on his face would be a terrible blow to the people who want to remember him fondly. Yeah, right. Like if Rex comes in here, I mean, he kind of already. I don't want to say he fell on his face already, but it was like him leaving, and then we just kind of muddled around at that 7-win, 8-win sort of run for a little bit, and then obviously he goes to Buffalo, and Buffalo isn't going to make the playoffs, and he winds up booting us from the playoffs. There's a spite aspect to it too. But yeah, I remember Rex fondly. I don't know if I necessarily need to rehash it. Again, not totally against it. Oreo says there's a reason why Rex hasn't gotten another coaching job since leaving Buffalo. The Jets need to look for Campbell. People hated Campbell for the knee comment and loved the Saleh pick. How wrong we were. I think Saleh's going to wind up being a pretty good head coach somewhere else. I don't think Saleh was the issue. I said that kind of at the time. Like Hackett was the piece that needed to be dealt with first. Like move him from offensive coordinator to coffee manager or something like that, and then decide on Saleh. Now they pulled the trigger on Saleh first, or at the same time as moving on from Hackett, and it is what it is. I think the season was probably going to go that way anyway. But I think Rex, I don't know. I don't think Rex not getting a job is necessarily indicative of him. I don't know how many times he's interviewed, right? And the Jets, if you don't have anyone else, at least you could sell the star power of Rex. Like, we got Rex back, sexy Rex, he's back in New York. Like, there's tabloids to be made from a Woody Johnson perspective that he might find appealing. Plus, if it all explodes, we already suck at 2-6. Oh, so are you saying bring Rex back like right now? Or are you just saying like we're gonna implode anyway? Like let's just implode with Rex next year. If Rex would take a 1-year contract for next season and just say like, hey, look, we'll give it a shot. You know, you and Rodgers, whatever. I don't know, maybe. There's a lot of other coaches I think I would land on before I got to Rex. Woody though, I think Woody could absolutely land on Rex. I really think that's possible. 𝐀𝐿𝐥𝐢𝐥𝐢 says, Rex, no Rex as head coach. Do we forget his last 4 years? His last 4 years were terrible. Now, I will say, if he had a GM that was worth its salt, it might be better. That was always kind of my knock on Rex. He got too involved with player decisions, and he also had his players to a fault. Like, he would play guys that he liked and wouldn't move off of them because he liked them. And I don't know if the GM just didn't want to cut certain players or whatever. Tannenbaum, and then you had the whole issues with Itzik. I don't know. I would rather go... I'm with 𝐀𝐿𝐥𝐢𝐥𝐢 here. There's other players I'd want to go with. But if you can't find anyone, Rex for a year. If Rex had to be our Adam Gase, I bet I could probably live with that. Douglas says they could bring Rex back as defensive coordinator. Broncos have done it twice with former head coaches Wade Wilson in the late 90s and now Vance Joseph. I mean, Rex now might be able to come back as a defensive coordinator. Maybe he provides that fire and zest that you need, and you pair him with like an offensive-minded head coach. I don't know who that would be though. Like, who really wants to work with Rex as the defensive coordinator when he was the head coach in the city that he would be then defensive coordinator in? I feel like his personality is larger than life, and you kind of get overshadowed by Rex. Washington brought back Gibbs. Didn't work. Yeah. This is true. I still lean, if right now in this moment, the snapshot in time, October 28th, Monday, October 28th, right now in my knee-jerk reaction, assuming we're not getting any of these top candidates, Brian Flores, Josh McCown, 2025. That's where I'm at. That's where I'd like to be. Find a way to do it. Get a guy that was a Jet quarterback, a guy that hates the Dolphins as much as I hate the Dolphins, Brian Flores. Yeah, I'm good with that. I could live with that. Steven says, what about Mike McCarthy? I really don't want Mike McCarthy. Oreo, that I wouldn't mind. Rex was on ESPN saying he'd come to the Jets for $5 million. That's his bottom number. He was a great defensive coordinator. I'd get on board with that and bring in Ben Johnson. If you could get Ben Johnson, if you could say like, hey, Ben Johnson, come take $10 million a year. We're going to pay our defensive coordinator $5 million a year. Or whatever Rex is making from ESPN to get him to leave. Sure, why not? Ben Johnson's the gem I want. If you could take off some of the pressure from him, I don't know. All right, we've gotten to 9:30. Got a 9:30. So let's go through some phone calls here. Bring up the phone lines, and you guys can call in. Nightbot should be posting the link in the live chat if you guys want to call in. I've got Steven, then Jake, then Julio, and then someone who I can't actually read their name right now. Hold on, let me just see. Maybe I can stretch it out. Mike, I'm going to crash out. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, so Mike, you're coming up after Steven, Jake, and then Julio. So let me go in that order. Let's go over to Steven. You guys are getting 2 minutes. Steven, what's up, dude?
What's up, Ryan? I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but at 2-6, I don't know if y'all can come back.
Yeah, I don't think you're being the bearer of bad news at this point.
I was really holding out.
I know. There was hey, look, at needing 8 wins in 10 games, you could convince me 4-2 could happen twice. There was an outside shot, but you could get me to turn it around. Now, after what you've seen, do you think Rodgers plays next year? That's more my interest, because you are obviously a Packers fan. For those of you guys watching that don't know,
I think he does. Who do you guys have next 2 games?
Next 2 games, it's going to be the Texans, and then is it the Colts? Is that the next game? Is it Thursday Night Football, then Sunday Night Football? Now I got to look.
Because I was looking at your schedule.
Cardinals. Sorry, it's Texans, Cardinals, and then Colts on Monday Night Football.
Okay, so
Colts on Sunday Night Football.
At this point, you realistically have to basically win a shit ton of games.
9-1 at best, and we don't have tiebreakers here. No tiebreaker. I mean, Buffalo, nope. New England, probably nope. Not that New England's struggling for that. Pittsburgh, nope. Broncos, nope.
Wait, have y'all played Buffalo twice again?
We played Buffalo one time, but I don't think we're beating Buffalo.
Yeah, no, you're cooked.
We got to play Miami twice. We got to play Buffalo another time. We got to play the Rams. We got to play the Seahawks, the Texans. Like, I don't see the Jets doing it. Not happening. Season's over.
No, you're not doing it. Honestly, though, don't bring back Rex Ryan. I mean, look. No. Okay, so, like, I remember his coaching days. I was a little boy when that happened. But even I can see, like, this guy sucks. And, like you said, he put a target on your all's back all the time. Be like, we're going to beat the Patriots.
Steven, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. I'm booting everyone after 2 minutes. You're all getting the chicken. We've got Jake, then Julio, then Mike coming up. I did see a super chat pop in, so let me just answer that real quick. We got Brian says, Joe Vernon, GM, Bobby Slowick, head coach. I'd have to do more research. I don't honestly do not know Joe Vernon right now. I have not done any research into GM candidates. I do know Slowick, though. Could do worse than that, for sure. Darrell, thank you for the super chat, says, do it now. Ulbrich is interim, not head coach. Just email the Jets. It's about the passion. Rex played players because he believed in them. That's what is great. Look, I love the past tense Rex Ryan and the bravado that he brought for that moment in time. But after the Santonio Holmes collapse and the was it in Miami that year in 2011 and we missed the playoffs, and then the years after that just felt like there was just the shtick got old for me. And I'd rather remember Rex as a fond memory and try to move on to the future than bring in Rex. And I don't think bringing Rex in right now to a team that doesn't know him is not really the right answer either. Now, in a situation where the Jets can't hire anyone in the offseason because we are just such a clusterfuck, and you want to convince me on Rex Ryan being the Adam Gase 2-year Band-Aid or the Texans, like the version of the Texans from a few years ago, then okay, fine, whatever. Like, I can live with that. But I don't think bringing Rex in as a realistic option is the way to go. Oreo says, Ryan, send your resume to Joe Douglas. Why the hell not? Just get me in as well. Dude, yeah, Joe Douglas isn't going to be there either. We just have the Talking Jets panel run the Jets, right? Green Bean, Matt, myself, we'll figure it out. Let's go over to Jake. How you doing, Jake?
We suck.
We do. Miserable.
Yeah, we suck.
What's the answer? What do we do?
Give up this year.
Yep, I agree. Do you trade all the pieces off right now, or do you wait for the new GM in the offseason to do it?
I don't care anymore. Just at this point now.
Yeah, sure.
It's a lost call. Like, honestly, just play whoever you want at this point. I wouldn't sign anybody at this point. I love Garrett, wouldn't sign him.
Mm.
I like Sauce, I wouldn't sign him. Brees Hall
Mm.
justifies my answer more. I would not sign him because I
Sure.
don't think signing running backs is pointless at any point now.
Now,
Rodgers
are you saying
probably,
even in like we get a new GM in the offseason and he wants to make decisions, are you saying you don't want to? Well, I guess you can't sign him right now. You'd have to wait till after the season, regardless, because it's a 3-year deal.
Brees
just
Hall?
No contracts across the board.
Nobody deserves a contract.
Mm.
This is a collaborative effort at this point. Now we can as much as this is Joe Douglas and Saleh, and especially it's Woody Johnson's fault because we're never going to win without a real owner. Like, hello, Washington Redskins. They're doing it with Josh Harris, and we should probably learn from that, but we won't. Yeah, all these guys don't deserve anything. This is a collaborative effort. It's their job to play. At some point, we have to blame the players and say, you guys have to do your job. They're not doing their job. No one's doing their job at all. So,
now, do you think that those players, should we trade those players away, I guess?
Yes.
You would trade them, not just let them roll into, like, what's the best option for next year? Is the best option, like, obviously we're kind of at the discretion of Rodgers. If Rodgers wants to play, he's probably going to play here. I don't know if Woody's going to allow anyone to come in and cut Rodgers, even if that's what we think should happen.
Let's just Ryan, let's just be clear. We've had 10, 11 coaches under Woody. They've averaged 2-3 years. Who's taking the job? Tell me.
I don't think anyone worth their salt. I really don't. I'm on team Flores McCown 2025. We could do a lot worse than that.
Brian Flores.
Who else are we going to get? You just said it. Who else are we going to get? Ben Johnson coming here? Nope. Is Vrabel coming here? I don't know. Maybe.
He'll take the Ohio State job. If Ryan Day screws this up probably Saturday with Penn State, Ohio State, yeah, he'll take that job. Absolutely. Yeah.
If you had to pick a coach right now, who would your coach be for next year? Realistically, assuming Ben Johnson's not an option.
Okay. Well, that was my option, but
of course, if we could pay him the most money ever, and he just wants to do it.
I know, but like I was even talking to my friends yesterday, like the idea of like Ben Johnson as the head coach, and and I hate saying this, but it's probably realistic for all parties, is Rex's defensive coordinator, because at least he can put Woody in his place and he'll say, Woody, sit the hell down. Ben's the head coach. I want to help you guys win a championship. I don't care about the defensive coordinator. He said he would have done it before. Like he actually has said that, like, actually multiple times. Like, I would even come back just as the defensive coordinator. So I think Rex is at least mentioned being a little selfless. I am not in any way endorsing him having any control drafting players at all. Like Kyle Wilson, like Quentin Coples, like everything. I would not allow him to have any ability to draft a single player. You have to let Ben Johnson and allow Ben Johnson bring in his own general manager. You have to let him pick his own general manager. It has to be a collaborative effort. It has to be. It cannot be, we will pick somebody. So you'd
let the head coach bring in his choice of GM. That's interesting.
Absolutely.
I hadn't given that a thought. I've always considered it GM and then head coach, but we've had those wacky.
No, Ryan, that is the bottom line. I mean, what do you think? What do you think Jim Harbaugh did? He brought in Jim Ortiz because he knew his brother from the Ravens. You knew he was going to take his hand-picked guy. It doesn't work anymore when you just start like what Charlie Casserly did and Ron Wolf did, getting Bowles and McCagnon just because they're from freaking New Jersey. Like, who gives a crap? It was a ridiculous standard.
Jake, like, I gotta get to some more people. I appreciate the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. That was a good call. Good call. I've got Julio, then our buddy Mike coming up. Before I do that, I do want to just get to some super chats. Darrell, I see you calling in. Hang on the line. I have after Julio, then Mike, I do have Hunter, and then Darrell. So you guys stay on the line. It just not crashes, but it bogs down my computer if I have too many video calls open at the same time. So just hang tight. I do see it in there, and I'll get to you. Brian Anderson comes in, says, Houston Texans special advisor to GM. They pulled off a huge draft day for Houston in 2023. Go get draft picks. All right, Brian. Interesting. That was going back to your previous comment, I believe. Hold on, let me find this. Yeah, Joe Vernon, GM, Bobby Slowick, head coach. All right, you could convince me on that. I could do that. All right, let's go over to some more calls. Let's go to Julio. Julio, how you doing, dude?
What's up, Ryan?
Dude, what do we do? What's our game plan?
Man, I'll tell you what. We know already Aaron Rodgers coming back, right? Because he said he wants to play the 2 years. And, for the coaching, I think we should do what we did in 1999. You remember that? When we traded for Bill Parcells?
Well, that was before. That was 97, 98. But yeah. Sure.
97, 98, yeah.
Trade for a big coach?
And, yeah, like Mike Tomlin. He's a
Ooh.
quiet coach. Bring him in there. Take no
Would they
nonsense.
trade him?
Yeah, a trade-in. We need that again. One more time.
I would love that. I mean, I would love to trade for Patrick Mahomes, too. I don't think it's happening. Why would they trade Tomlin?
Well, because Tomlin, he more about not a culture, but he more that leader that they need. He don't take nonsense. You mess up, you going on the bench.
Oh, I agree. He put a lid on Antonio Brown, Big Ben, Le'Veon Bell. Like he has like bottled up some headaches of all headaches. Like I really like Tomlin. You tell me we could get Tomlin for a first round pick, I'm doing it all damn day. I don't think it's happening.
Exactly. And don't forget, we do got a quarterback sitting. He's not playing this year, but I feel like when Rodgers leaves, he could be our quarterback.
Talking about Travis? All right.
Yeah, we can't forget about him.
Sure. I think that's not someone I want to like rely on as the future, though. It's more of like hey, here's a lottery ticket. If it hits, fucking gravy. If it doesn't, you didn't give up a whole lot to do it.
Yeah, remember, he went undefeated at Florida State, and he got hurt.
Sure.
So the kid is good. It just, let's see. We don't want another Zach Wilson.
That is absolutely true.
So for me, bring Mike Tomlin. Make a good trade. Bring Mike Tomlin. He's no nonsense guy. He don't choose players. He chooses a person who wants to play. Who don't want to play, get him out of here.
Julio, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. We've got Mike, then Hunter, and then Darrell. Call back in. I saw you popped in, then you popped out. Lots of discussion going on. All right, there's Darrell. All right, let's go over to Mike. Then we got Hunter, then Darrell on the line. Mike, how you doing, dude?
Hey, how's it going? There's no E next to our name next to this season. There's no E. They will not blow it up until there's an E, and it's gonna be too late. They won't do it. They'll say we're not mathematically eliminated. We're gonna hold out the hope that we can turn it around because they've invested too much into it. Joe Douglas is gone. We know that. We know he's not going to come back because of Woody. I'm not getting into whether he was good or bad. He's not coming back because Woody stepped all over him and made him look like a bum. So what are they going to do? They're going to run it back next year with a different coaching staff. Whoever that is, that's them to decide. Armchair GMs are defeated. We're all defeated. We're all 0-17 in the armchair GM department. What they're going to do is, what they should do is draft a quarterback high and have Jordan Travis and this young quarterback sit behind Rodgers together for that year. And then the year after that, you let those two play it out. You plan next year as we're going to run it back, but we're not saying it's going to be good, but we're still going to plan for the future in advance. So next year's kind of like a mulligan, almost like whatever happens. We do really good, fantastic, but it's 1 year. And if we do bad, who cares? We knew it was bad from this year. It's over. Like that's what they should do. They need
when
to
you
play
say high, are you
that
talking
way.
like a top 12 draft pick high, potentially trade up high, or are you talking like maybe like I would kind of get on board with using our first round pick on a player of need, or even trading down and then selecting a quarterback later. Like I don't necessarily want to take one super high up when I feel like we're
whoever they can sell me on that they think they always screwed it up. I understand that, guys, but they've never sat one behind Rodgers. They never had a high-end talent sit behind a freaking quarterback for 1 year. It's all I've ever asked for was 1 year, sit behind a quarterback. Mahomes did it. Burrow basically sat for the whole year. He got injured. You look at Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson. They all fucking sat. This team doesn't do that. They throw him to the fire. And Lamar sat behind Joe Flacco for 6 games. Behind Joe Flacco.
Gotcha.
It doesn't matter. They still sat them. They waited. They had a plan. The Jets just throw these rookies into the fire, sink or swim, they die. Every fucking year, they die. So you have to have an actual plan for drafting one.
Who do you want as head coach?
We're going to get Doug Peterson. I don't want him. It's going to be the guy. He's one that they're going to end up taking.
God
you know it.
Damn
you know it.
Mike.
It's Woody all over. It's Woody all over.
Mike, you've been ejected from the cockpit. The way it's gone down in Jacksonville. I'm just so done. I'm so done. I really don't know. Brian, thank you for the super chat. I've got Hunter on the line waiting. Brian says, new direction. Let's get with the times. Stop buying the past. Let's build a new young culture. Matt LaFleur, Green Bay just wins, no matter the quarterback. Well, we're not getting Matt LaFleur, first and foremost. But I would say young offensive mind. You just have to attract him there, right? Like LaFleur was attracted to that position because he had the quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, and he was able to go get his quarterback he wanted. And he got back-to-back MVP seasons with Rodgers, all that stuff. Like there's attractive things about that particular point in time. I do think that the Jets are probably in a rough spot trying to attract someone here because of the unstable nature of this particular job. I don't know. I'm down with going with the young offensive-minded coach. We haven't done it yet. So I can get on board with it. All right, let's go over to Hunter. Hunter, how you doing, dude?
I'm doing.
That's about you preach. That's exactly how I think all Jet fans are feeling today.
Yeah. So I've been on graveyard shift, and I had a lot of time to think last night, just about the whole situation, right? Mm-hmm. So all season, everybody's talking about accountability. Hold this person accountable, hold that person accountable. Mm-hmm. The issue is, what's the standard that people have to be held accountable to? We don't have one. We've got Robert Saleh out there, all gas, no brakes. But then as soon as somebody screws up, oh, we're having really good practices. We're doing this. We're doing that. We're going to fix it next week. Never gets fixed. The idea of next year being a full reset, I'm 100% on board with. But when I became a fan, Rex Ryan was the head coach. Granted, you've got good points about him, screwing everything up with a really good team. But we've got a really good team. We've got young minds that are just being ruined. I mean, you look at Quinnen Williams, you look at Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson for the time he was at Florida State. They all had a standard. They all had drive, and they were held to it. So when they preach accountability and then there's no standard to be held to, these talents are being wasted mentally more than anything. Doug had a good super chat earlier where he was saying he'd rather have a team of scrubs that play as a team rather than, a bunch of superstars and everything. And Aaron Rodgers, he's a problem, but he's putting up numbers that should win us games. He talks about accountability a lot, but going back to it, there's no standard to hold people accountable to. Next year, I need Vrabel. The Patriot way is a Patriot way. It's Bill Belichick's thing, right? Nobody's going to repeat it. Nobody's going to do what Bill Belichick can do. But Vrabel's been around, and he's a dude who can at least come in and say, hey, what are we doing? Rex Ryan, when I remember him as a coach, it's we're going to run it down their throat. We're going to punch them in the effing mouth, right? We need somebody to come in and almost be a college-style head coach for these young guys.
Rah-rah kind of guy.
Yeah, and not rah-rah and, oh, here's my new catchphrase. It's rah-rah as in, hey, we're adults. We're getting paid millions of dollars. People are watching us. People are giving their money. Let's be professionals. And just before I go, I know I've gone over the 2 minutes, but I do like the idea of Flores because I think he can kind of be that guy behind the scenes, but he's shown that he's professional enough to handle the New York media. People come to him with questions. So that's all I've got. I'll let other people hop on here, but just one last thing. The identification that we have, speaking back about Rex Ryan, we're the little brother in New York, and the little brother is the one that says, I don't care what you're saying. I'm going to show you. And Rex Ryan embodied that pretty well. So,
all right. Hunter trying to talk me into Rex Ryan right now. Hunter, thank you so much for the call. Been ejected from the cockpit. I've got Darrell coming up, and then we're going to get back to Mike. Mike's got some more to say. He wants to lay it down for us. Real quick on that. So I guess Rex Ryan holding players accountable. I don't know how much he held players accountable the first time. Like, I remember the players are going to escape me right now, but I feel like Jim Leonard was probably playing a little longer than he should have. I feel like I could probably find other players that attributes to. But if you could convince me that Rex Ryan is going to be the defensive coordinator and get this whole, unit fired back up and they're ready to run through a brick wall for Rex, okay, cool. Got to pair him with a good offensive mind. Is that something Ben Johnson would sign up for? Maybe. You hand him the keys. You just say, go for it. I don't know if it was Jake that mentioned it earlier, talking about Harbaugh and picking his GM. Harbaugh was a head coach multiple times over. I don't know. I don't know the right move. It's fascinating. There's not really a wrong answer for a lot of this stuff right now. It's so hypothetical. Let's go over to Darrell. Darrell! How you doing, dude?
Yo, what up, man?
Dude, how you feeling? Where are we going from here?
We need Rex.
Ah, you're a Rex. Rex kind of guy.
Look, I got the whole outfit on tonight.
Are those abs?
They're not mine.
I think they could be yours. That's okay.
No, I think we need to bring back Rex. And the whole reason is we already fired the head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Ulbricht's the interim. And we need someone with a passion,
Mm-hmm.
You talk about when's the last time he let players play past their age.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Lauren Landry.
Mm-hmm.
He was such a hard-hitting safety.
He was a piss missile. It was great.
Yeah, he had no fear.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone that we have there, they all suck. We should bring back Jamal Adams. Oh, God, this is okay.
You want to bring back Jamal Adams? You want to bring back Rex Ryan? Darrell, I'm going to smack the silly right off of you.
No. Oh, I'm going to the game in Arizona, so if you see the outfit,
I'll know it's you. Dude, very cool. So your team, you want to bring back Rex. Who do you want as offensive coordinator then?
Rex Ryan.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Darrell, I love you. I'm looking forward to seeing you out there in Arizona, but I can't talk to you anymore. Can't talk to you. You're ejected. Thank you so much for the call, dude. Greatly appreciated. Joe says we need Gruden. Going to get to Mike momentarily. I just want to go through a little bit in the chat, see what else you guys are talking about. Freedom House says Keith Carter will ruin AVT and Joe Tippmann. Yeah, I don't know why we brought him back to begin with. Really drives me bonkers. I don't know what happens with AVT. Harlan says Flores deserves another shot at being head coach. That's kind of where I'm painting myself into right now. And I think there's going to be a fire there against Miami. No first-time head coaches anymore. That would fall in line with, a Rex or a Vrabel or, Flores or something like that. Parrish says whoever the next head coach, they should pick their own staff, not Woody, the front office, or the fans. Yeah, no, 100%. Head coach, honestly, kind of what Jake was saying with having the new head coach pick the GM, I'm kind of okay with that take. I honestly have not really considered it that way, but I would be okay with that too. Euphoria, I'd trust Ben Johnson to get his quarterback, but doubt he comes here. Yeah, I don't think he's coming here either. Beefy, for the love of Christ, get an offensive line long-term before drafting a quarterback. So I do want to, in a very, brief synopsis of how I'm feeling right now, I would like to bring back, rework AVT's deal. Have him come back. I'd like to go offensive line or defensive line early in the draft or trade down and do the same thing. I would draft a quarterback earlier. I would consider, back into the first, second round, depending on if you like a player or not. And then let him and, Travis kind of duke it out. I don't think drafting a quarterback super high to sit behind Rodgers is a great move. Just because I don't know if it's necessarily a nurturing type of environment. And I feel like there's a lot of expectation then and a lot of pressure. Maybe there's a quarterback out there that can handle that, but New York's tough. We could joke again. Brian Flores, Josh McCown, 2025, bring back Sammy Darnold to New York. That's where we're headed. Not your same darn old Jets. Let's go over to Mike again. Mike, how you doing, dude?
Yeah, I just want to be clear. I don't want Doug Peterson. I'm just expecting this team to do the absolute worst thing possible. That's where I'm at right now. I just don't expect them to do it right. So I'm kind of selling myself that if anything better is better than him. So if they do Brian Flores, I'm ecstatic because I'm like, hey, it wasn't what I was expecting, which was literal garbage.
Doug
I'm more
Peterson,
mad
Rex
about the
Ryan,
game.
2025. Is that what you're telling me?
Like I'd probably jump off of MetLife Stadium and hope that gets them to sell the team. I'd probably take one for the whole fan base.
I don't want to see you do it.
I want to talk about Greg Olbrich at that press conference. It kind of made it sound like he didn't want to be the head coach when he was like, "I'll take a hard look at me, maybe stepping down." Like it kind of sounded like it was over. It was like flown over, and I think everyone missed what he was saying. But to me, it sounded like he was like, if they want to fire me and maybe back to defensive coordinator, he would want that. So I was thinking, in a short-term fix, Woody Johnson, you can fire 2 coaches in one season. You can demote Olbrich, and you can hire Tom Middleton. How cool would that be? That'd be a first-time thing. That'd be pretty cool for the Jets. Say for the
Ron
first
Middleton,
or something.
but God damn it, if we
Ron
hire
Middleton,
Ron Middleton after having Olbrich for 2 weeks or 3
God.
weeks, God,
I
hate
know.
this
I'm just like the way Olbrich was talking. It just sounded like he was like, I would step down if they gave me the option. Like
It'd be
that's
pretty
how
cool if I
that's how
didn't have to
felt
do
it.
this.
Oh, Jesus
Dude.
Christ. I want to talk about the game for 2 seconds. How the flippin' flag nabbit do they not have a 2-point play when you know you're going for the 2-point play? What the fuck is that bullshit, Rodgers? What do you think this is?
The entire drive.
Now I'm pissed off. What the fuck is that? How many penalties? Why is it I love Tyler Crockett on the fucking screen again. God, make me so fucking happy. 4th down and goal. Let's throw the ball to Mike Williams. Say we used them. It's Frank fucking Gore. Fucking kill me. This team is so bad with the coaching and the decisions. I just can't stand that shit. Fuck the fans. Like, we had a kicker, we'd be 5-2. We didn't have a kicker. We're 2-6. Get over it. We didn't win those games. Move on. Figure it out. Keith Carter, I'll fight you in a ring for your position. I know I can do better. Greg Zorloin, I'm happy you're in outer space right now, you bum. Greg the third leg wide right. My dick's bigger than yours, bucko. I'm out of here. I'm so pissed.
Mike, that was a great rant. Oh, geez. I needed that. I needed that to finish that off this hour. Man, boys and girls, I don't know what to do. I feel very much like Mike right now. I was so pissed off. Now I'm pissed off. Friggin', you know you're going for 2 points the entire time. The entire drive you're going down. We got to score 2 to make it, to put us up ahead by X amount of points, whatever it was. And you got to delay a game. Delay a game on the 2-yard line. Unacceptable. That's coaching. That's quarterback. That's everyone top down. Just asinine, stupid bullshit. Boys and girls, it's been a lot of fun talking to you and venting a little bit. I'll be back here I'll be back here next week, but I'll be back here tomorrow with Matt and Green Bean and the boys. Talking a little Jets. Before I do, I want to say thank you to our sponsor, BetUS. Head over to BetUS. Who else is going to be traded at the deadline? Get a 150% bonus match on your first deposit up to $2,000 using YouTube 150. Are the Jets selling everyone off? Are we sellers at the trade deadline? Or are we waiting till after the fact? You guys can head over to BetUS. They got some great props that you can do the rest of the season because we kind of know we're not looking at a whole lot of good football coming up, so maybe you can at least make a little bit of money. And if you do, support the channel, support the sponsors. YouTube 150, get you a 150% bonus match on your first deposit up to $2,000. Just going to put on the shades. Just going to go to sleep. Going to take some gummies. Going to fall asleep. Boys and girls, it's been a lot of fun talking to you. Keep your heads up. It's only another wasted year. This is Jets Talk signing off.